Okay. Thank you for you guys' patience. Once again, I do profusely apologize for my tardiness here. Um, and let's see, what we're going to do is going to expand our screen and we record the Zoom meeting so that recording in progress. So that we can refer back to it, especially in the event that, let's say, our meeting minutes don't materialize. I did write out some meeting minutes for us for last month. I just sent them to the board, and so those, once they're approved, can go out to the community. And let's see. And I don't know if you had a chance to see those or not, Bob, but those came out just before I left the office. So, okay. As a point of order, just so everybody is on the same page, once again, board meeting. And so this is typically between the three board members. However, we do like that we have the opportunity to get feedback. But this is more of an opportunity for the residents to observe the board meeting. We can open up to questions if we don't go too long today. But of course, in the event that if you do have questions, I would say hold them to the end, and then of course, being a board meeting, we want to make sure this is done civilly with a degree of professionalism, and want to make sure that everybody kind of stays in check with that. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Do you want to start?
One question.
Yeah.
Is Dave going to be participating?
That is a great question. Let me see if he said he was going to be on the mountaintop this afternoon. Dave, my father.
Are we talking about Moses here? I'm just kind of curious.
If you ask him, he'll probably say yeah. There's for Jeff and Mary, so there's basically three board members. There's the commercial board member. Bob represents the residents, and I'm kind of I'm the whipping. I'm the whipping boy, the janitor. So with that, and yes, Dave is my father, and he spends most of his time in Eastern Washington nowadays, and so he is oftentimes difficult to reach. So what I'm going to do is try and give him a call, and that way he can at least be with us in voice. So let's do this. Thank you.
The call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone.
Okay. Well, with that, we tried. So So I would assume that he's not going to be with us today.
Okay.
Did
You want me to go ahead?
Yes. So, Bob, from the position of treasurer report.
Yeah. Pardon me. I'm kind of laughing just because your note that I just read, one of the first things that you wrote about last meeting was that T Square's report and accounting system is not user friendly. And I will reiterate that today as I present this, just because there are some things in there that I don't quite understand from the reports that we get. Now, I do know enough about accounting that they do a cash accounting as opposed to accrual. But when I say that, I also see that they have created certain accounts related to insurance, and I'm not exactly sure how that works. So anyway, comparatively speaking, we're pretty much staying ahead as we were last month. In the checking account, there's $27,350. The reserve account has $84,592. That's all on there.
Perfect.
And
Thank you.
we have an accounts receivable of $37,479, and we'll come back and talk about that. So, if you will, the total cash is just below $150,000. There's also this insurance reserve of $11,853, and again, I don't understand what that is, because on the financial statement that they gave us, the balance sheet, there actually are two entries for that. One of $11,853, and then another one of prepaid insurance of $26,062. So, I mean, again, I don't know what those accounts mean, to be honest.
Okay.
And maybe it's just saying that, should we have a penalty or some kind of damage, that this is how much we've paid and that we're fully covered. Again, I don't know. I apologize. The year-to-date income is $166,000, so we're basically at about 118% of what our budget was, which is good. Now, one thing that they do not provide in the financial statements is what I would call non-recurring payables. And we have a bill for the roof repair that is $18,713, which, just for everybody's edification here, the original bid was going to be for $18,851. And then when they got up on the roof, they did not realize how badly the metal had been basically totally, what's the term I'm looking for? There had been so much buildup of scum and everything on there, it took them a multiple of what they had originally bid just to do the power washing. My guess is we actually paid almost as much for the power washing as we did for the actual roof repair.
Third.
Oh, it was a third.
Third, yeah.
Okay. So that's why I have this $18,713, and there is a question with that too. And Tom, you were going to speak to them because the front half of the building never got cleaned. And I think you were trying to get them out here to get that done. And those of us on the residential side would really like to see that happen. So,
Yeah. So, had the conversation with Summer from SQI, and she is saying that that was never part of the bid. They didn't walk that piece of the property. They didn't see that piece of the property. They did not bid that piece of the property. I will be honest with you, I'm kind of contesting that because I was here when they were doing their work here. And I mentioned to them, oh, yeah, and, don't forget, we also have that section that's over our entryway and this one that's down here. I said, and they go, well, how do we get to there? I'm like, well, you have to get a ladder. That's about the only way that you can, get to that unless you walk through somebody's unit. I'm sure. So, so as of right now, they're saying, back up just a little bit. I had mentioned to them that the railing that was in the original bid to gain access to the roof on the top, they never installed that. And they're saying we didn't realize because of that sloped area where you step out, basically a handrail there would not work. The other thing, though, is that they actually did some damage to our roof. So now, will it affect anything? Absolutely not. I mean, if you're in a hot air balloon, would you see it? No. If you're standing right above it, yeah. I made it a point of taking pictures of it, but there's basically dents in the metal flashing portions that hang over where their ropes went, so they could tie off to the to prevent themselves from falling, and or their hoses. And anyway, there's in certain spots creases in our sheet metal. They're not big. I kind of made it a big deal, but what they offered was to remove that portion of the bill, which was the hand railing, and also give us a 5% discount. So I did bring up that section, and she's like, it was never part of the bid. Now she is going to talk to her foreman because that's who I talked to, and she's going to get back to me. But at the very least, I would say that, what we're looking at here with this revised quote that's the revised number. Is that accurate?
that was the number that you said to check in the email, but you had different numbers.
Yeah. Well, we've
because I gather that the original number you got from them was like $20,000 or more.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't know if that number there included tax or not. So that everybody knows. So the original one was about $13,000, and then they came back to us with a rework of the invoice saying that because of the added time to clean the junk off of our metal roofs, that they needed to add hours to it, which, like I said, was about a third. So that bumped us up to about $20,000. Then when I approached them and said, we've got these issues, then they now reduced it to 18,000 and change. So I think that's the number that we're looking at there, 18,713, which I would say is probably the number that we owe.
Okay.
I have one question and one comment, if there's time.
We'll make a note of that. So,
okay.
Thank you. Okay.
So I guess the question is what do we do about that front piece? And again, I don't know what they charged us per hour to have somebody up there with a power washer. But it's not only that, and I don't know if there are any spots, that could leak too.
Correct.
Now, and I know that the catch basin or whatever where it all collects, I know that that isn't draining, which means, it's not been cleared.
Sure.
And that doesn't take a trained professional to do that. I mean,
Sure.
I actually did that, and I'm the furthest thing from a trained professional. So, but, it's an eyesore, it smells, and it would be really nice to get that done. And the other thing is the cap that goes around the second, that never was cleaned either. The cap that would, on the front part of the building,
Yeah.
that's all dirty too.
The fascia cap that goes on the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I would say that, probably needs to get done. Of course, they're disputing now. They are going to have to come back out here because when I was up on the roof, and by the way, for any of those that don't know, I hate heights. I do not do well with heights. Not my favorite. But I went up there and I actually found a couple of spots that they missed, and they said that they would come back out. So what I'm hoping to do is, especially if it's Alex, because he's a cool guy, is have him, I'll make sure I have a ladder with me, or I don't know if we have one here at the building that would gain us access to, to that section of roof, but have him come out and take a look just to see if there's any patches that need to happen, and then get a quote. But realistically, to be charged roofer contracted rates to pressure wash, not excited about that. We might just see if we can get somebody who just does pressure washing and get a quote for that. So, because I think we just saved about $1,800 on the bill for, the stuff that they just took off of the bill for the stuff that they didn't do. So,
Okay. So you're still, do you have a kind of a time frame, or that you think we'll get an answer from them on that?
I don't have a time frame right now.
I mean, the other thing is I've been told that membrane roof, it's not as durable or as the tar paper or whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to be careful. I don't think we need the same kind of pressure washer as far as PSI. And frankly, I think if you got some type of detergent cleaner or whatever and cleaned it with soap,
Mm-hmm.
it would probably clean up a lot easier than just, putting a super power washer on there or whatever. So,
Well, who has access? Anybody here? Do you have access to that roof area?
yeah, all of us on the second floor do.
I don't remember where everybody lives.
Yeah. They can come through my.
Well,
Yeah.
Could I go take a look at it?
Sure.
Let's do that after the meeting.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Okay. So, let's talk about a couple of the things that are top of mind. And the one that I realized is the transition to a new property management organization. There's the decision, but also it would be really great if we could get this done so that when people go to make their December payments, they know where to make them. As opposed to, we don't want them to go to T squared.
Correct.
And so I think we'll have to kind of hand deliver to everybody, okay, here is where we are, and make sure that we get that straightened out. The other thing that is on this, that T squared was going to be involved in the budget preparation for 2025. And we do need to do that next month.
Yeah. And they're no longer doing that. They're just doing the.
It's interesting because I get notes from them about that, but I don't think they really would be helping us with that.
Okay.
And it would make a lot of sense for to have whoever the new organization is, and if we can get that done sooner rather than later, I think we'd be wise.
I agree with you.
Isn't T-Square still handling your financials?
Just the financials. Julie, you, we were just talking about the roofing. Is that what you were wanting to comment on? Let's go back. Sorry about that.
No big deal.
So, yes, what, yeah,
Okay,
question and comment.
just a couple of things about the roof. First of all, when your dad, Dave, told me to send an email out to the building ahead of time, before it was all official, he had mentioned that the roof was around 16,000. I'm sure it was in the email, and that was probably without tax, so that probably did come to 18. But whatever, no big deal. The other thing on the metal part of the roof, and I don't know about your unit, and obviously I heard that Terry had a mess. I had a mess. I paid somebody to clean up my mess, but the metal part that comes on my unit was not cleaned. Now, I went and got my own bid to have that cleaned, which I do plan on, if I do it, sending it to the homeowners to pay. Okay, and one more. Let me just see if I have anything else on the roof. Oh, also, I got a bid for the second floor roof. So I'll get that for you because I have a friend that cleans windows and pressure washing, and Dave had asked me to get a pressure washing bid, which that's another story, so I'm not going to go into that. But I will call him and get you guys some pamphlets on his company. He's been doing pressure washing and window washing since he's 5 years old. So
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Yeah, I'll have them send that.
Okay, go ahead, Bob.
Do you want to take a minute and talk about the one firm that you and I both talked to about property management?
Yeah, sure. So had a meeting, I think it was the 17th of last month, with a gal by the name of Barbara. And she is, the company name escapes me.
Property Associates.
Real Property Associates. Thank you. So had a meeting. Did you meet in person or just over the phone?
On the phone.
On the phone. Okay. 35 years worth of experience, HOA, mixed use properties, which is kind of a different animal. A lot of times you have an HOA, but sometimes it's just all residential or all commercial. With us being mixed use, like I said, different animal, but she has experience with that. And she just struck me as somebody who is strong, kind of a no nonsense, kind of cut to the chase. And I guess one of the things that kind of really endeared me to the scenario is that for those who don't know, both Julie and I are in real estate, but I own a property management company. It's their company who sets the industry standard. It's their bar that is set that I compare to see how well I'm doing in what we do. I thought it quite ironic that we actually use the same accounting software, which I can tell you from experience. I can pull it up on any one of my phones, laptops, from anywhere. It is very user friendly. It is easy to read. It's easy to understand. There's plenty of tech support with AppFolio is the name of the company that we both use. Now they use it probably a little more robust than my little 100-unit property management company because their company nationwide, manages tens of thousands of units. And the fact, though, that we both use the same software, I thought was really, really nice. So
well, and I think it's a lot more than accounting, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, we can use it for a variety of different things. It is quite robust.
So vendor management,
Yep.
you know, reports and licenses and
Yep.
all that other stuff.
Yeah. In fact, we have the ability to, scan something in, put it into the system. Everybody who has access to it, boom, there it is. If you wanted our bylaws on there, if you wanted our resale certificates on there, just and it really is very streamlined.
Okay. All right. Well, good. So hopefully we'll get that worked out. On the commercial delinquency, I'm not sure how this happened, but Dave asked Joe Pipinich, who's one of the tenants here, a lawyer, good guy, to work with T Square to try and understand the receivables issue with the commercial account. Now, the problem is that the lion's share of the problems occurred before T Squared ever got involved. So they had no knowledge, no visibility of the transactions, of the expenses that went in to collect and so on. And I had tried to get a hold of Joe, and anyways, he's been involved in a trial, and he got back to me this afternoon, and so we'll get together in the next couple of days. And frankly, we had this, I think, pretty much nailed down. Would have been October of 2022, and then things just kind of went on their own merry way. And then we had some issues, and again, I don't see on the report, there were 3 checks that were submitted and then they were rejected. And supposedly those were restored, but that must not have happened in September because it doesn't appear on this report.
Which report is that?
Well, the great big 30 pages of printouts that we got from T Squared.
Yeah.
So that's like $21,000. Remember the 3 checks?
Yep.
That Dave gave, and he wrote paid in full.
Full, right, yeah.
And those were destroyed.
Yes.
And so it's like, okay, would you please, resubmit those? But I haven't seen them, and evidently they haven't been posted to this account in September.
Those 3 checks, the ones, well, because when we were here last month, Cindy said we've received checks.
Okay, but I'm just telling you, they aren't reflected in the September 30th.
We need a, who's our accounting person over there?
Well, I mean, I can talk to her, but can Dave give me a check numbers or something that says where they are?
I can probably do that.
Because if they've cleared or not.
Well, because we've got an email from Cindy saying that we received some checks today. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, because we got that in writing.
So anyways, I will I will get together with Joe. I'm here now. I'll be here next week. And I'll get together with Joe to wrestle that to the ground.
Okay.
I don't know if we want to talk about the assessment issue right now. But that's an issue that we will have to include when we talk about the budget for next year.
Yeah.
And by the way, one of the things on here, you know, I had the garage and the need to do an LED upgrade, motion sensor lights. And we've had a couple of people ask to get, you know, lights in the garage. And I went to Home Depot because evidently our supply is gone that was in the electrical room. And when I went to the Home Depot, they said, well, we don't carry these anymore because basically they're fluorescent and the governor doesn't like them here. And so we're not going to be carrying these. So I can order them. I can get them delivered here. But I think that begs the question that sooner or later, we probably want to upgrade all those
LEDs.
lighting fixtures in the garage. And well, you might know how much that costs, but I just kind of took a quick glance, and I want to say there's probably 20 of them anyways in the garage. So that's not going to be a cheap item. We might want to consider that as an upgrade that we need to do.
Okay. Yeah, because of course we can't get light bulbs for it. Well, and I wonder.
I can do that, but they're going to become more and more difficult.
Right.
And you know, I just go to Amazon and order them.
That's what I was thinking.
But again, you know, our state wants to keep us green.
Yes, green.
Okay. And then the sidewalks, and I know Julia sent information to the city. And,
Yeah, I'm gonna, when you get to that.
Okay. And again, this trespassing with these kids and so on. And, you know, I think we need to be careful. We need to document our concerns, because if we do have an accident, you know, at least we can say, hey, wait a minute, we were trying to get people to pay attention to this.
Right.
Right. But the other thing, and I thought maybe Dave was going to work on this, of getting some tread or whatever on the sidewalks. As it gets rainier and rainier, it gets slippier and slippier on our sidewalks around the building, not on the street.
Mm-hmm.
But I would suggest that that's something we really need to do.
Yes.
Okay. We've got some affirmation there. Awesome. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, Tom, I need to find out your schedule if we can meet Monday with the attorney. If you can tell me if there's
Nope.
window.
The only, do you not get my response? The only time that I have booked right now is I've got basically a 3 to 4. So
Okay.
anytime during the morning till early afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just waiting for you to tell me.
All right, I'll take care of that today.
Cool.
Okay. That's that.
Okay, and let's see. And for Jeff and Mary, I'm not sure how much you know about, you know, all the inner workings of the building. Have you had an opportunity to sit and have a glass of wine with any of the other residents and hear about kind of some of the things that we've got going on?
Unfortunately, no, we haven't. We just closed on the unit, and a couple days later, we had a vacation planned in Maui, and that's where we are currently, is in Maui. And ironically, we have another homeowners association meeting tomorrow for the place that we have in Maui. So it's just, but I appreciate the invitation. It's great to get to know more who people are, and we're, you know, we did look through a lot of the documents, and we're trying to understand the current situation of the board and how we're transitioning from one management team to another as far as everything.
And we're going to call Bob when we get back and set up a time with Bob to have some wine.
Perfect.
And show him that we are even better than the Sandpoint people.
Oh, you're going to have to bring the wine then. It's got to be expensive. No, that would be fantastic. Yeah, just so you kind of know what's going on, because I don't assume that you probably know a whole lot about just the history of the building. So and everybody here is absolutely wonderful. So yeah, so that'd be fantastic. But when Bob was just talking about the attorneys, a few years back, there was a situation that involved insurance companies and the people that were selling the building, and there was some monies that went missing. So we're in the process of trying to go back after those monies that went missing. So it's not necessarily us getting sued. Well, it's complicated, but
we understood. We read through some of the old minutes and everything, and we're trying to, figure that out. And
sure,
we haven't since, but I'm sure there's all kinds of details that need to be filled in. But we'll get there.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I just want to take a moment to, and then re-welcome you guys, and we won't hold it against you that you're UW fans. So.
Uh-oh. Well, what other fans are we talking about here?
I don't know. I don't have a dog in the fight, but yeah, you got that dog. Yeah, no. My son and daughter-in-law, they're WSU, but my dad was WSU for 2 years, but graduated from UW. So it's like, I don't know, whatever. Okay. Let's see. The trespassing. I think that's something that, at least for the protection of the building and also to make it official, should we put up some signs?
Well, that, and I think I can do it. Just talk to the police and ask the police to be aware of these kids. I'm sure we're not the only ones where these kids, and kids are kids. But
sure.
Anyways, I think it would be wise to ask them what to do.
Sure.
I mean, if they're literally crawling under a fence, that is trespassing, and there's no question about that.
For sure.
Okay? So, I just saw them skating into the garage, but one of their skateboards is inside the fence.
No.
Mm-hmm.
It's right next to your car.
Well, it was left in the entryway where people are trying to drive. So I did pick it up and put it against the wall. What was I supposed to do with it?
Skate. Do you know how to ollie?
No, thanks.
Well, cool. All right. So maybe we should get in touch with the local PD and then see what we should do.
Yeah.
You or me?
Well, I'm here, and again, I think maybe if a policeman were to talk to them and say, fellas, you're free to do whatever you want, but stay off of people's property. And we've got a beautiful skate park, brand new, a few blocks from here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just when they start crawling into places, and if they vandalize something,
Right.
But the other thing is that if they get hurt, from a liability, I don't think the law enforcement would speak to the liability aspect of that. It might be more of a John Hood thing, but they get hurt on our property, they come zipping around and car hits them on our property, whatever it happens to be. If we have something posted, we could say, hey, look, that sign over there shouldn't have been on the property. So that's what I was thinking. And signs are fairly cheap and easy to put up.
Huge red signs.
All over the place. Yeah. Now I want to make sure that we're keeping the aesthetics of the building, but at the same time also want to make sure that we're keeping the, the liability low as well.
And you've got also, sorry to interrupt, you also have people walking through the easement from next door in walkers and wheelchairs. So, just so you know.
Yeah.
So who's going to get sued? The people across the street or us? Or the city of Edmonds?
Us. Probably.
Yeah, I put a gate up.
Just a dome. Covers the whole building. Okay. Let's see. Did we get anywhere with the security alarms? No. Is it security? The fire alarms. We were talking about how Jim Lockhart was supposedly still on the account or something.
No, but the guy has sent us a proposal for an updated security agreement, and I think we just got another notice here in the last couple of days. The problem I had with what they were, it just seemed to me that it was really excessive for some of the, I don't know if it's the equipment that they're telling us that we need to put in, because it's kind of like emergency equipment that is never used, and okay, it's 25 years old. Do we really need to replace it? Is that the problem, or is it, I just, and we've had plenty of these alarms, so probably the smartest thing to do is just do what they say at this point.
Okay. Let's see. And did you reach out to the folks, either the moving company or for the family with regard to the wall repair?
In fact, I just got a note today, and I wanted to let the Ritters know. They're still online. When they are planning to move in, because we need to give them some guidance on that, like putting up the protection in the elevators and that sort of thing. And that the thought is why don't we wait till they get moved in before we have the walls repaired from the move out?
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So,
all right.
I understand, and that's a very strategic way to do things. Honestly, at this point, we're not sure exactly when we're going to move in. We're trying to figure out what we want to change within the unit, and then ask for any permissions that are required to get any work done, and schedule or that. It's not, we don't have any huge plans or anything, but we may do some countertops or some cabinets that are on the walls, just small things that we want to do before we move in. And we're also the timing of the weather, anything like that. We just really don't know. This happened very fast for us. We've been looking for years in Edmonds. We currently live in Seattle, in the View Ridge area, so we're very close. We have a lot of friends in Edmonds, and we're up there quite a bit. We love the community. We love the building, 110 James. And so we're very excited to be there, but we just don't know exactly when we're going to be there every day.
That's fine.
The sooner the better for us.
But don't hold anything up for us.
Okay. Let's see. So that can probably then happen. I mean, kind of be a bummer to, do repair on top of repairs if that were to happen. But at the same time, yeah.
and we know we'll be liable for any damage that we do when we're moving in. So we'll be very careful and respectful of,
Well, the reason. Now, did you say you'd lived in a condo, or you have a condo?
In Hawaii.
In
We
Maui.
do in Hawaii.
Okay, because this event that happened a few years ago was when the owner of the unit directly below your unit was moving out, and their movers not only broke the sprinkler head but broke the pipe.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we appreciate your being very careful.
Actually, look, I think I saw some of that damage or what that was in the stairwell. I think we noticed it, so that explains things. But yeah, we at all costs want to avoid any further damages. We'll make sure we do
Especially
whatever we
sprinkler
can.
plugs to the pounds of pressure.
Yeah, we've actually been a victim of that in the past, so we don't
Awesome.
want the.
Well, and just my opinion, instead of using the stairwell at the north end of the building, I would use the stairwell at the other end of the building, because I think there's
It's wider.
some bigger spaces.
Yeah.
You know, like I think it was a big couch or whatever that the guys were moving. And,
Yeah.
Again,
yeah.
the more information we have about your preferences, if we're getting a moving company bid, we'll make sure that say, hey, we want to use this stairwell, and and only do it in these times. We'll make sure we get that in our bid. So the more information we have to give to any moving company, I think the better for everybody, and we'll try to make sure that it's as smooth as possible for all of us.
Great.
Thank you, John.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Look forward to seeing you.
Awesome.
Sorry you have to be in Maui.
Yeah. Bummer. Yeah. I'm sure it's horrible over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 80 degrees.
Man. Let's see. So moving on. Sorry about that. Okay. So we talked about the railing the walls, property manager, budget, HOA meeting minutes, notes, videos. I've only been able to, I didn't realize it, but the previous video that I shot is actually in 3 videos because of the length of the time of the meeting. So the first one's been uploaded to YouTube, but it's super duper short. And then I sent you out those notes. Let me know if I missed anything, but pretty much went off of these ones here. Let's see. Meeting with the attorneys on Monday. Let's see. We talked about the monies from the insurance claim, which was that $11,800 that we think.
Well, I think there's a strategy in this because the CPA firm filed taxes for EFCA, for the HOA, and they were a part of it, of the insurance fraud when they brought the money in to pay for the repairs that happened in 2018 that EFCA never paid for. So, and again, I felt sorry for EFCA, but Mike Meeks, he was cook, auto washer, and chef. And anyways, and somebody said, if you really want to scare the bejeepers out of them, call the IRS.
You mentioned that before. Yeah.
And that might be the easiest way for us to get their attention, because it's fraudulent what they did. And this is a CPA firm that made it happen.
Yeah, I don't know how you would propose that without it, looking like, blackmail or
It's not
extortion.
blackmail.
Well, but I guess, and the other thing though is
It's a
that,
fact.
well, I was thinking it's like, hey, play ball with us or else,
Right.
we're going to report
Right.
you. But at the same time, we report them. Let's say they get busted. I don't know how that does us any benefit necessarily. Whether they get our pound of flesh,
Well,
which would be nice.
I would imagine there's damages, right? And insurance, and it's a big deal.
And it could
not
actually
to mention the legal fees that we've already spent, and you've also got Philadelphia Insurance that played ball with them. So there are a whole bunch of people, and it's just stupid for the amount of money it was. I mean, just absolutely stupid. But I'm sure they never thought anybody would look at it.
Probably. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so that is, let's see, pretty much everything. Two-party approval for paying the bills. Do we agree that that the roof repair needs to be?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, am I allowed to make a motion? Make a motion to pay them?
Oh, I don't know if, yeah.
All right. Second, you?
Yes.
All right. Fantastic. Okay. So, and will you let whoever our person is?
Well, we need to get an invoice.
They're sending it.
Okay.
I talked to them. Actually, Summer was traveling on the, I don't know if she's on vacation or if she was on the road today, but she's going to have her person send over a revised bill. Okay. Okay.
And, I go back to their system. And when Cindy was doing this, it was pretty transparent to us. But, we have a number of invoices that come in, including insurance and, I don't know what else, that are, automatic, paid directly. And now I'm seeing those come in, and it's like, I have to approve those. Well, why do I have to approve them? If I approve them, are they going to cut a check even though they're taking an automatic withdrawal from our account? And that's why, when I went through it's like, well, why do we have two payments for this? I mean, there are some transactions I need to go back and just say, what happened to this? Where are these? I mean, there were two payments for Ziply fiber. By the way, someday I'd like to fix that.
Let's put that on for
Budget next year.
Budget and or because I think that could be huge. So new internet provider. Okay, Julie, beautification
Yes.
guru.
Okay, here we go on a landscaping beautification quick report. Some good, some bad. I've been communicating since June or July with Angie Fesser, the head of the Parks Department in Edmonds. Originally, when Kathy and I did our walk, we found out that there was a bunch of dead shrubs in the back. That property on Sunset, all those trees, all of that belongs to the city of Edmonds. I know that we have lights on their trees, but that's besides the point. Apparently, Kathy mentioned that Pedro had bought some lights for those trees. Probably at the time, nobody realized that that's not our property and it's not our trees. So, long story short, on those dead bushes, the city gave me permission, us permission to get rid of them at our cost, which of course I refused and told them, we don't have, our association doesn't have money to trim your trees. And I was still communicating with her and trying to get it done, but then she hit me with the email telling me, today I have to lay off 25 people, and we're not going to be able to have City of Edmonds prune those trees. So anyway, it's their trees. I could care less anymore because they're not going to do anything.
Now, real quick, you said on Sunset. So is this on the west side of the building? Which side of the building is it on?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And
Yes.
between us and the parking lot for the
Exactly.
ferry.
So
Exactly.
when they say they're not going to be able to prune the trees, is that like next spring? Because that's been one of the things that
Maybe.
they've done is they've kept them so that it doesn't totally obscure our views and things like that.
Well, maybe.
Well, it sounds
yes.
like our landscapers were the ones that were doing
No, yes, thank you. So our
We've been paying to
landscapers are
landscape.
so dumb. Sorry.
that.
They are so unaware that for years they had been trimming the city's trees.
Well, we ought to get
Until I
thank you
stopped it. Until
from
I
the city.
stopped it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, the thing is, she did one nice thing for us. The big tree up in the front that deposits leaves everywhere, particularly on our property, because we were discussing it and letting her know that our landscaper told us that those limbs can be trimmed because it's dumping leaves on our property, even though it's your tree. Well, she actually hired a landscaper because, of course, I let her know that we don't have money for your trees. So she sent me, and we were communicating by email earlier today, and she was finding out when that pruning is going to occur. So that's a good thing, because here's the thing. Some of the biggest problem with our landscaping company is that it looks like they didn't do anything. And so maybe they didn't do anything. But it's not like I'm going to go walk around with them, or Kathy, or whoever wants to. I mean, it's not like we could walk around with them and watch everything they do. But in my opinion, and I have a copy if anybody wants a copy. You have a copy. You don't have a copy, probably.
I don't.
I mean, do you want another copy, Bob?
Thank you.
What?
Of the landscaping contract?
This is who we have currently?
Yes.
Oh.
How many copies did I give you? Oh, I made a bunch.
Oh, I got two.
Okay. Bob, would you like one?
Sure.
Okay.
You went to the trouble? Okay. Thank you.
Sure. So anyway, so not only that, but when Kathy and I walked around with him, we told him everything that we think he should do, this, that, and the other. On the north side of the building, there's got to be a way. I don't care if it's a little tiny area, but I would like to see a small area all cleaned out, raked, cleaned out, looking alive instead of dead. When you look at what they tell you they do, they even act like they pick up dog do, which I'm sure they don't, because every time I walk...
I just happened to see.
Yeah, I know. Every time I walk blessing them... Oh, sorry, that was on the list, the things they don't do.
Yes.
But the sticks and the brush and the pieces of broken things, they don't take anything out of there ever. And I saw in March, there were some flowers, and I looked month after month, and I never saw anything good. And they don't prune those flowers enough either. So I'm thinking to myself, and I did some calculations, which I'm not going to go into that now, but basically at I mean, basically, it's about $640 a month that we're paying them, and it's two people. They come twice a month. But when they're billing in the amount of months, they're charging a year's worth, which is 26 months is what they're charging for. And, I added up, divided up per month to come up with the 640. Well, the way I looked at it, those two people that come every day are making a rather good living for doing nothing. Because I see nothing.
Well, I see that we paid $296 last month in the landscape.
Yeah, right. Every month we pay that since the 90s. Since 1998, the same contract.
Well, I would love to have contracts at 1998
Prices.
rates.
Yeah, but wait a second. Why don't you look at it this way? $640 a month.
Where's 640? This says 296.
Figure it out times a year. Do you want to look at my math?
Is it for each visit?
Here you go. Here's a breakdown. If you guys want to look at that breakdown.
Well,
I added up. If you go, I just did it at 300. I might not have done it at 296, but obviously it's pretty simple to take 26 times either 300 or 296 and change.
Well,
And
here,
so
here
each
year to date,
man-
we've paid $2,667 in landscaping, which is roughly $300 a month.
Right. Well, how do you think it looks?
Well, it's not $600 a month. It's
so
$300 a month.
There's 2 trips that we get in a month.
I'm just saying that that's how much we've paid year to date.
oh,
So
So-
296 includes 2 trips.
Yes.
So it's not 600, it's 296. It would be more like 148 per trip. Right? You're doubling as opposed to,
Well, the 2 men come for 2 hours each
well,
every other week.
yeah, but we
So-
just pay one company. We don't care whether they send 2 people for an hour or 14 people for 15 minutes.
but we're at $300 a month.
Yeah.
$300. Okay.
Which I've got to believe. Again, I have no idea what the going rate is, but and
But they come
you guys
twice
are
a
in the
month.
business, not me. Okay, but I'm just saying we pay a month $300.
Okay.
Excuse me, I need to step away from this restaurant.
All right.
Well, I could redo the math, but that's beside the point.
So-
Two people come each time they come. So then you have 2 workers, 1 hour each. So that's 2 workers, 2 hours.
yeah. So, well, I mean, depending, but it sounds like based on what we're actually getting billed for, it's, Bob said it's not more than $300 a month. So,
Well, I'll look on Polera and look back at old years and see exactly.
okay. All right, cool. But actually, I'm going to look at this, and I appreciate you getting this because I do see some things on here that I kind of wonder if we're getting our money's worth.
No, we're not. We're
yeah.
not, because okay, the north side, all those trees have diseases, okay? So, I mean, obviously, they didn't tell us they had a disease, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, one of those huge trees never got pruned, and it was hanging over on the roof, depositing crap on the roof, which ends up costing us more to clean a roof because of it. And when I asked Cindy if she could get those trimmed, she told me, "Oh, our company doesn't trim anything. They don't trim anything." Yeah, well, they were back trimming City of Edmonds trees for years.
Sure. All right.
And the other thing is, Yes, we need them for the sprinkler system. Does anybody else in the building know anything about the sprinkler system besides the landscapers?
I think Jeff looks like a guy who knows a lot about sprinkler systems. No, I do not.
They fell asleep.
Pedro might.
Okay, so would you ask him? That would be a good thing to know.
Well,
Now, the other
What-
thing
what-
is,
what's the question?
what the question is does anybody know how to turn on and off the sprinklers?
Well, you're talking
Yes
about
or
the
no?
exterior sprinklers, right? That's they go
The
for the
right
outside.
that are
Yeah.
inside the
So they
beds.
come in basically around maybe May 1st, and then they schedule to turn them off right about now. I'm not exactly
And
sure.
winterize. They actually have to blow out the water in the system,
Good.
because
Right.
if there's any water that's in that, it'll freeze and, break everything. So it is turn on, service, adjust, because people kick them and do stuff, and then you got something squirting out over here, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm looking. I'm kind of speed reading through this thing, but of course they're not responsible for
Anything.
a lot of this stuff. But when it comes to the sprinkler system, that's one of those things where the maintenance of it and turning it on, turning it off, making sure that they're adjusted, making sure they get coverage.
It's
etc.
on an automatic timer.
Yep. So make sure the automatic timer's set appropriately. This looks like they do spray supposedly 4 times a year for
Supposedly.
insect and disease. And in fact, we're getting ready for another one of those treatments. So there's other things, besides, but I think it's cool that you brought it up to our attention, especially with regard to, the dead trees and tree trimming and
Right.
all of that.
And
So.
a couple more quick things.
Okay.
I don't want to interrupt you, but a couple more quick things. To me, it looks like the biggest job that they do is blow leaves.
Sure.
Now, we have a leaf blower, and as far as I'm concerned, a leaf blower would be making $20-$25 an hour. Maybe a cleaner could be a leaf blower. I noticed your friend Louise and his aunt Edith were here over the weekend. What were they doing here?
Our unit and Lloyd's unit.
Oh, okay. Long story short, do you agree with me that paying landscapers to blow leaves is inefficient?
I don't know, not necessarily. I mean, that's kind of what landscaping is. You mow a lawn, you blow it, you blow up the sidewalks. I think because, the last time that the garage was done, I did it personally.
Right.
And I can tell you that, those things just, you just don't blow them onto your neighbor's property, right? You have to collect them. My truck, even though I put them in,
Stunk.
well, that too, but I was putting them into large garbage bags, and back on my truck, and this is just from our garage, was absolutely full, brimming with garbage bags of debris and leaves and whatever else. So when they come out here and do that kind of stuff, we're talking about, hundreds of pounds of material that they're also hauling off that we don't have to deal with, which is kind of nice. But I tell you what,
It'd be great, Julie. I think what you're talking about is, someone like a handy person or whatever that
Listen, this guy
changes the lights, does blowing.
I could get a
power
window
washing,
cleaner
whatever.
to do a lot of things for a great rate.
Well,
So here's what I'm thinking. I know they're not going to let us put their account on hold, but it would sure be nice to have a break from them. Because I'll tell you one thing, if they're too lazy to get in there with a rake and get that stuff out of there, there's all kinds of broken branches and stuff. I mean, I walk over there by the garbage and walk through town and stuff almost every day, and I never see any difference.
Let me do this. Maybe do a little audit on the property. come in with some fresh eyes. There's things that it's like, hey, wait a minute, that's on the contract. This is stuff that's supposed to be happening, and then maybe have a conversation with them. Sometimes people get, complacent. Maybe they feel like, hey, this is all you guys are paying us for, so this is what you're going to get. But I think maybe just have that opportunity to have a conversation with them and yeah, see what they have to say. But
So
cool.
I was going to talk to Glenn. I haven't talked to him in a while. I had asked for 2 bids. The one bid was for Beauty Bark, which was
Who's
a
Glenn?
couple $1,000. He's our representative,
Glenn
Clark. Glenn, it's on there. It's If you look at the back pages, it tells you that the company's owned by Espinoza on the last page, and so Espinoza owns the company, and Glenn is number 1, and somebody else is number 2. Let me find it for you.
I don't know who told me, and it could have been T squared, but when they looked at looked at our property and what we were paying, their comment was, well, that's pretty good right now.
I would think, as far as the price goes, I would absolutely agree with you. As long as we're getting, our money's worth.
See, I don't think we're getting our money's worth. Here's
Have you by chance asked anybody else to come out and give us a bid?
no, but I plan on it because
cool.
I know every company that next door switched from this company, probably because they're too expensive.
Well, it would be nice to know because I can't imagine we would get.
You could have
twice a
I have
month
a few of these.
Oh, all right, perfect.
for less. I mean, again,
I'd be surprised. But, but just to make sure, I guess being fiscally responsible and everything else, checks and balances.
Now this looked like.
we could save more money on the phone.
Do you have a copy of this?
Oh, 3 times as much. Sorry, what?
Do you have a copy of this?
No. Oh, actually, no.
This was for something we didn't buy,
Okay.
and I told your dad about it, and he said he agreed with me that it was a terrible price. And we've never had new dirt since 1998. Now that's hard to believe.
Yeah. But that's also pretty doggone expensive though too. But we could do a lot of stuff. We're just gonna have to break into everybody's piggy banks.
We might want to have a day.
That's what I thought. Let's go clean. Listen, we could all chip in and clean out that mess. But if I talk to him, it may be in person, and anybody else is welcome to come. And I think I'm going to tell him straight out that we'd rather have you work on a smaller area and get that area real clean and perfect than to work on a huge area where we can't see anything. Because that's how I feel, but I don't know how other people feel. But I believe that most people will feel the same.
Well, I think just by unburdening them from doing the city stuff should be something positive anyways.
But it didn't make any difference. That was stopped a long time ago, and there's just more leaves, more pieces of sticks, and bird poop, and people from across the street throwing their cigarette butts in there.
Yeah, well, that's not the landscape people.
No, it isn't.
We're
No,
not
I
going to be able to stop that.
No.
So I think, you brought it to our attention. I'll do some follow up. I'm going to do a little walk around the building, do my own little audit, and then, and if we find that there's deficiencies, let's bring it up to them and see what we can do.
Absolutely. Also, as far as the propped up sidewalk, I thought it was only a couple years ago, but it was more like 4 years ago that they marked, that I talked to the engineering department, and they marked that popped up sidewalk with yellow. And so, of course, when Angie gave me the name of who she thought that I should contact, I contacted Royce at the engineering department, and that was not an email. And if I talk to him again, it'll be an email, so that we have a paper trail. But he told me that the popped up sidewalk was our responsibility, and I have the RCW right here if anybody wants to see it. And I had a very long conversation with him. I asked him straight out, have you ever forced somebody in the city of Edmonds to do that? He said on one occasion a person got forced to pay for the popped up sidewalk. So unfortunately, and you could read it in Edmonds' wonderful RC codes, if to get that fixed, we have to pay for it. Just like if we wanted to get those trees out of the back sooner, because it doesn't look good for us, because we don't like dead trees there, then we would have had to take our landscaper and take the couple hours somebody works per day and use our precious time and money to cut City of Edmonds trees, which they've been doing for years because nobody knew the difference. Now, you can't tell me that Mike Meeks didn't know the difference.
Do you mind? Do you mind if I hang on to this?
No.
All right.
I'll print another one.
All right. Well.
So if we go and cut,
what's the topic? Let me just write the topic.
And cut all the roots of those trees, that's okay.
Actually, we cannot touch their trees without their permission. We'd get in trouble.
Well, but wait a minute.
The dead ones, you mean?
No, the ones that are causing the sidewalk to erupt.
Now that, I'm not only am I not positive, but I will find out. Here's the thing. Not only do we now have one popped up sidewalk, but the second biggest tree, well, actually the big tree up front, because you saw it, the big tree up front that they are going to prune for us, they just don't know when, but I'll definitely find out because she's finding out for me today. That huge one up front is pushing through the sidewalk too. And so to me, I don't think that's fair because it's their tree. All their trees cause our sidewalk to pop up.
Well, and I wonder if it was their trees that caused the problem with the sewer when Dave bought the building.
I have no, I'm not an expert, so.
Well, we don't have any trees. We have no trees on our property. So the answer is,
right.
Yeah, it was the city's trees that caused us to have to repair the sewer.
Well, then I think you should file a claim.
Well,
and the other thing
you just told me, they're going to tell us to go pound sand.
Well,
and that's what they told us told Dave, and then Mike Meeks gave the bill to the HOA, even though he told Dave he was going to pay it.
Well, if Dave didn't follow up, then it's Dave's problem.
Well,
or maybe he should follow up because they owe him money. And maybe you should follow up with your friend McLaughlin. 4 years ago, you were supposed to take care of that.
All right, well, let's do this. We're kind of getting off topic. Anything else from the beautification department of the situation? Cool. Bob, how are you doing? Are we good? Do we have anything else that we need to?
No, I think you and I ought to get a date.
I could leave if you're done with me.
Yeah, no. Yeah, thank you.
You two sound like.
Oh no, we still have people online and stuff,
thanks.
And we're gonna go. I'm gonna impose, and I'm gonna go upstairs, and we're gonna go up and look at the roof.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Julie,
for your interest.
Yeah, I'll keep working on all this. Send me your questions, Bob, for the guy.
Oh, yeah.
You can text me, email me, call me, whatever you want.
I guess I'm never surprised about what the government says and what, it's like, wait, this is yours, but it's our problem.
Right.
I don't get that.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, but we probably ought to spend a few hours on the budget, and I don't know when you are free to do it. If there's a afternoon or a Saturday or an evening.
Wednesdays are my flexible day. Wednesdays and Fridays.
Okay.
Sometimes Mondays, depending.
Okay. And you like to keep your weekends to yourself.
Well,
Which is good.
I'm working.
Well, okay. No, I was just suggesting that and look, my schedule, I can fit mine, but let's try and get this.
The budget, yeah.
Well, I sent you the note about getting the information to RPA. Do you want me to send?
Do you have access to some of that stuff? I've requested some of it. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay. And I sent you an email maybe day before yesterday that just said, okay, I have this, I can provide this, I can provide this.
Yeah.
I don't have this. I don't think we have this. So go back and if you would look at that and then tell me.
Okay.
I prefer to send it kind of all in one as opposed to, well, here's some of this and here's some of that and here's some of this. Right?
Sure. Makes sense.
And